Swim and Dive hosts a conference rival.
And men's basketball gets a huge win on national television.
All of this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. And welcome into the Penguin Rundown for the second time in 2024. I'm Caleb Ellison. Alongside me today is Bryce Noel. And Bryce, it was a very exciting weekend to be a YSU sports fan.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the Beagley Center. You know, you have the men's basketball team definitely getting huge wins over top-seeded Purdue Fort Wayne, and especially what just happened against the Wright State Raiders.
Absolutely. We're going to get started with that men's basketball team. You talked about Purdue Fort Wayne a week ago. YSU took them on. They were the #1 team in the Horizon League, Purdue Fort Wayne, at Beagley Center. And despite the Mastodons coming into Beagley Center with a 13-3 overall record and a 4-1 conference record, YSU jumped out to a 45-30 advantage at the half. The Penguins held Purdue Fort Wayne to just 33% shooting in the first half, along with just 27% from beyond the arc. The Mastodons came out firing in the second half, shooting over 50% from the field and over 60% from three. Even after outscoring the Penguins by 7 in the second half, 3 20-point performances from YSU proved too much for Fort Wayne, as Youngstown State grabbed the win 93-85. The 3 Penguin scorers from over 20 points were fifth-year seniors Brett Thompson with 24, Ziggy Reed of 23, and Brandon Rush of 20. Fifth-year senior DJ Burns also contributed a double-double with 13 points and 11 rebounds. Following their game against the Mastodons, the Penguins hosted Wright State in a nationally televised game on ESPN2. Wright State jumped out to an early lead at the break, 34-32, and held a 62-53 lead with just over 9 minutes to go in the second half. Despite the deficit with a packed Beagley Center behind them, the Penguins rallied to score 28 points in the final 9 minutes of play, behind 2 more 20-point performances from Reed and Thompson. The Penguins win their 3rd straight game, 81-71, over the Raiders of Wright State. YSU now sits at 5-2 in the conference and 3rd place in the Horizon League. Heading into tonight's matchup against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies on the road, you can catch the YSU versus Oakland game live on ESPN+, and as always, live stats will be available at ysusports.com. Bright stars are always made under the bright lights, and we saw plenty of big plays. We'll have Dylan Lux at this week's Penguin Play of the Week.
Thanks, Caleb and Bryce. A lot of great plays over the weekend, especially in our national television matchup for the men's basketball team against Wright State. We at the Penguin Rundown chose a play from Brett Thompson, 5th-year guard. As you can see here, he drives down the right side of the lane, underhand layup and in. Celebrate that one, young man. We'll look at that a second time, but a beautiful play from the 5th-year guard. Goes right by the defense, a nice move, hits the reverse layup. 2 points out of 20 on the night for Brett Thompson, helping lead the Penguins to an 81-71 victory on national TV ESPN2 against Wright State. This has been your Play of the Week from the Penguin Rundown. Caleb and Bryce, let's send it back over to you guys.
Thanks, Dylan. The Youngstown State University women's basketball team rounded out its 3-game road stint against Green Bay on January 11th and Milwaukee on January 13th. Against the Phoenix, the Penguins' top scorers were unable to put points on the board, which relied heavily on Abby Leiber and Haley Thierry, who combined for 20 points en route to a 47-85 loss with a 38-point loss. Youngstown State came short against the Panthers, 58-66. The loss marks the Penguins' 3rd straight as they fall to 6-12 overall and 2-6 in the Horizon League. The women's basketball team is back in action against Purdue Fort Wayne at home inside the Beagley Center on January 18th. The game will be streamed live on ESPN+ and can be heard on 570 WKBN.
The Youngstown State University track and field team competed in 2 meets over the weekend at the Penn State Nittany Lion Challenge and the Kent State Judd Logan Memorial. First at Penn State, history was made as graduate student Morgan Cole set a new school record for the women's 1-mile run, finishing in 4 minutes and 51.75 seconds. Cole ended up taking 2nd place in the race. Other event winners coming out of Penn State include Melina Sybak, who took 1st place in the women's 800-meter with a time of 2 minutes and 15.47 seconds, and sophomore Jack Vasilio took 1st place in the men's pole vault with a height of 5.05 meters. 5 Penguins won first place at the Kent State meet. YSU swept the long jump with Ty Hunt winning first for men's and Daisha Decree winning for women. The Penguin also swept the 60-meter hurdles with Luke Laubacher and Madison Murray winning the men's and women's race respectively. The last Penguin to take first place at Kent State was sophomore Ryan Henry in men's shot put. This Friday, the Penguins will return home to the Watson and Trestle training site to host the YSU Collegiate Invitational presented by Southwoods Health. For updates on the meet, you can visit ysusports.com.
The Youngstown State University swimming and diving teams began their season this past Friday and Saturday, taking on neighboring Horizon League member IUPUI. The Penguins won 3 events on the first day of competition before winning 6 more on the second day. Sophomore Miriam Frost, junior Olivia Kaniak, and senior Gavin Redden all had outstanding performances on both event days. In the 200 IM on Friday, Frost took first with a time of 2 minutes and 12.01 seconds. On Saturday, he won 1,000 free with a time of 10 minutes and 20.70 seconds. In the 100 press, Kaniak won with a time of 1 minute and 07.69 seconds, and in the 50 breast, she won with a time of 29.80 seconds. Redden won the 100-meter freestyle and the 50-meter fly with times of 45.47 and 22.06. The IUPUI ladies trounced the YSU women 363 to 198 in the 60 event competition, which took place on Friday and Saturday. The IUPUI men defeated the YSU men 388 to 174. For the second weekend in a row, the Penguins will play at home when they host Denison on Saturday. The meet starts at 1 p.m. and at 12:30 p.m. Seniors will be recognized before the race. And speaking of swim and dive, we send it over to our very own John Ostapowicz. Well, he will have your swim and dive meet the team. John?
Thanks, guys. This week on Meet the Team is the men and women's squad from Denison University. Now, the D3 squad has an impressive win over Cleveland State University and went toe-to-toe with the Ohio State University. Now, this past weekend, both squads had compelling victories over top 25 teams and set 8 program records. The women's team for the Big Red is ranked first nationally and features the dynamic duo of sophomores Lisu Minich and Emily Harris, who recently placed in 2 separate events in diving, as well as the 200 butterfly and 200 backstroke. The men's team bolsters the 6th-ranked squad as the Big Red swept Carnegie Mellon, Calvin University, and Johns Hopkins University. For Denison, sophomore Brendan Stanley and junior Tyler Distenfeld took home wins in 2 separate events. It's hard to place in an event, but let alone 2 is not an easy feat. But here at Youngstown State, we have a few swimmers as well as divers who make their own waves in the pool. The keys to success for the Big Red is to win the freestyle and medley relay events. Doing so would eliminate YSU's top performers, which would lead to a compelling victory. Will we see the Big Red take down another D1 opponent, or will the Penguins get a much-needed home win? We'll find out when we meet the team.
And that is all the time we have here at the Penguin Rundown for today. To keep up to date with everything YSU Athletics, make sure to visit ysusports.com, and to stay up to date with the Penguin Rundown, follow us on X and Instagram at Penguin Rundown 1. I've been Caleb Ellison.
And I've been Bryce Noel, and as always, stay safe, Penguin Nation.